Hello and welcome. It is episode 4. We are a month into the TBD college football podcast. Myself, Newbeck, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend and model Maryland citizen, Dugan. Dugan, how are we doing on this clear sky Wednesday evening?
Doing very well. Hoping the fall weather finally turns its head because I'm ready for long pants and quarter zips, Brad.
Are you a vest
Ready
guy?
for it. I can be a vest guy. I don't not necessarily wear one all the time, but I can incorporate a vest into my outfits.
You know, and I hate to say this, Dugan, but when I see you wearing a vest, it always seems like it's somebody else's. Like you got it from somebody else's closet.
Yeah, no. That's, well, like, most of my, I'll probably say 60% of college wardrobe is not mine. So I can definitely see where you're drawing that parallel from. I tell you what, though, I'm starting to wear a lot more cardigans. Cardigans are awesome.
You know, I got one in college for Christmas.
What?
Never wore it.
Oh, they're fun. They're good. Good stuff.
Never wore it. Yeah. All right, well, let's get to college football. Yeah, we're already a month in. This is week 4 coming up. And like I said with my theory before, you know, we start to get a real good idea of what teams are coming to play and what teams are looking forward to 2018. So we'll just jump into last week's games, and not exciting as they have been, I guess, but probably the least exciting week of the season so far. And so we'll just jump right in. Dugan, what first game you want to cover here?
Let's go for that exciting one. Down the swamp.
The game for Butch Jones's life.
Yeah, I texted you. There needs to be a Butch Jones camp.
And a complete agreement. The fact that we have not seen the axe drop on at least one big time college football coach yet is, I guess, to be expected. You know, maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll see it. But is Butch Jones the hottest seat right now in college football?
Yeah, I think you have to, just kind of compounding everything that he's done. Definitely think he's the hottest, on the hottest seat. I mean, but then again, you can argue this 5 different ways with Sumlin, Kelly, depending on what they want to do with Jim Mora. That's a game we should have started off with, that Memphis UCLA game that we'll get to. But yeah, I think he has to be the hottest seat. Just everything he's done just hasn't done much. He always recruits great, but he just never finishes seasons great.
No, oh man, he just looks so mean.
Like, who wants to play for that?
Yeah, I don't. You know, at least with, you know, somebody like Saban, you know, at least you're going somewhere.
Yeah, like I can put up with looking at that stupid mug if we're winning 11 games a season.
Yeah. No, and I think it was such a sloppy game anyways that gosh, you know, I think at halftime it was like 6-3.
It was something like, it felt, I think at one point it was like 13-3, 13-6, but that felt like 24-3 or 24-6, the way that Tennessee just could not do a thing on offense. It didn't matter what they tried to do. It just went sour. Everything. Picks in the end zone. Fumbles. Everything.
Yeah, just an all-around sloppy SEC East battle. In Florida, you know, getting a win. Obviously, they didn't play last week due to weather, and then losing to Michigan their first week. So, I just, it's a sloppy east side of SEC, and, we'll get further into this, the fact that the SEC is just not what it used to be, a shell of itself. But we'll move on here. UCLA going to Memphis. Obviously, everyone talking about Rosen or UCLA, and Rosen had a great game statistically. I mean, they threw the ball 56 times. He had 4 TDs. But the fact that you gave up 48 points to this Memphis team, just kind of goes to show you that UCLA, I think, is looking forward to 2018.
Yeah, I know that the Memphis offense is pretty good. They have a really good coordinator, but I don't think they're 40 plus points against a Power 5 school good by any means. Josh Rosen had a good game. It's kind of polarizing seeing that last throw that he had, just an atrocious interception that he just threw the ball with no one there. I kind of get the feeling, I don't know if it's true, 100% true, because I'm starting to accumulate a lot more Josh Rosen kind of plays and all this. He kind of reminds me of Andrew Luck, just the way that I feel like he is so adamant about forcing the ball in and has yet to understand that getting sacked or eating it for the next play isn't the worst thing that could happen on a play. So that's what I'm worried about. If I'm a Jets fan, I don't know if I'm taking Josh Rosen on 1 overall, or whoever has a 1 overall pick. I don't think I take Josh Rosen.
That's a very interesting comparison that you make, and I am 100% on board with it. He looks a lot like Andrew Luck, where he just kind of, it's my second read. I felt really good about it when I came on. As I'm letting the ball go, I don't feel as good about it anymore, but I've committed, and now I'm just going to throw this thing as hard as I can. But yeah, 48 points, better luck next year.
Yep.
We shall move on. Stanford, losing to San Diego State, 20-17. Not good.
Not good at all. Especially, I was proclaiming, I think, week 1 that David Shaw should be handed a blank check from any school he wants to. Yeah, not good, Brad. Not good at all.
No, especially with a Pac-12 that was looking, to be the cream of the crop maybe this year, with Ohio State going down, Michigan having some rough patches, the SEC not being as good, and then obviously the Big 12 always shooting themselves in the foot. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have. I mean, San Diego State's not bad. They're a good team, but once again, they're just not. I don't know. Something's up with Stanford. Something has to be going on, or if this might be the classic Stanford where they lose 2 games and then somehow finish 9-3, and have a chance of somehow making the Pac-12 championship if Washington loses on the road or something. So
there's there's always that asshole, college football analyst. Stanford deserves to get in.
Hard to make that argument this year.
Hard to make that argument.
Hard.
We shall move on. We will go to, mentioning the SEC, just a thrashing by Mississippi State at home against LSU, number 12 LSU, and unranked Mississippi State. I mean, you fired the Mad Hatter almost around the same time this year, or last year.
They fake fired him, right?
Yeah, they fake fired him, and then really fired him.
That was awesome.
And then Intermed comes in, and, whole season you really don't know, and then right before their bowl game, he gets a full-time gig. And, did you make the right call?
Yeah. I think they made the right call moving out of Les Miles. I don't mind the Ed Ogeron hire, really. This is the first game, I think, this year where I at least had some doubt in my head in some of the games, maybe if I picked them wrong. I had this game so fucking wrong. I thought LSU was going to embarrass them. And we were watching the Clemson-Louisville game, and I turned it on just to get a little commercial score check. And it's close. I think it's close to start. I even think LSU maybe scored first to start. And then I turned it back, and it's like 28-7, and I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? Bad.
No, I agree. I mean, it's just kind of. I hope Mississippi State is good, and this is not just playing three bad teams in a row here. And so it almost makes, Alabama's road to the SEC championship that much harder. Because.
But it really is harder.
Yeah, who knows?
Just level with me.
Will it be?
I'm pretty sure it's a cakewalk.
Yeah. So who knows?
No, you know what, though? I don't want to say that because that LSU team can be 0-10, and they'll still play Alabama extremely well. So I don't want to say that. I don't think it's a cakewalk. I think if another team can sneak in there, I don't know. I don't think it's as much of a cakewalk as I just thought it would be.
No, I mean, you're right. And Alabama's going to have a bad game. And the way they're moving, how limited they are on offense again this year. Alabama gave up 23 to, the School of the Blind this week. So,
Yeah, can't play Colorado State every week.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll move on. We'll move on here. Again, LSU in a little bit of trouble. Mississippi State on the rise. Oklahoma State thumps Pittsburgh. This is a Pittsburgh team that I thought was back. Like, this was their year. This is their year in the ACC to really make a statement, maybe be a year away from really making a go at it. But no, they had their chance against two pretty good teams and fell flat on their face both times. I mean, just didn't even make it a game against Penn State. And then obviously Oklahoma State looking like maybe the team to beat or
yes,
working their way into the first Big 10 or Big 12 championship this year. So
they were my Final Four pick.
Yeah, and I thought you were high, and
no, but I also have Ohio State in my Final Four, so I can't.
Well, here's the question: is it the Washington of last year?
See, I don't know. It might be, but people kind of forget that Washington Alabama playoff game wasn't. It was a good first half for both teams. It was a close game.
No, I mean, Bo Scarborough bust off that 90-yard run, and that was pretty much it for Washington. But that didn't happen until the fourth. No, I think you're right.
Game.
I think you're right about
I don't know,
that.
though. I think Mike Van Gundy and Mason Rudolph are very good. And by the way, I haven't heard of. Are we sleeping on Washington again? Are they undefeated?
They are.
Sleeping on them again. That quarterback. What the hell is his name?
Jake Browning?
Yeah, that's what it is. I knew it wasn't ING last name.
ING.
I was going to say like Kettering or something stupid.
I mean, they're going to have to make their rounds here soon.
We're going to go on.
They're working their way up. Everybody keeps losing, so Washington just keeps moving up. But
classic Notre Dame undefeated season. Just
God,
go about your business and beat shitty teams.
Hey, why not?
Hey, got them there. It's a good recipe.
Yeah.
Louisville,
Clemson. Yeah. This was, I thought, going to be a better game than it was.
So, I texted you when this happened. This really, really made me mad. It was such a close game. I really think one play ruins the game.
You're right.
Do you remember that play, right?
Refresh my memory.
So it was like it was a play action, one of those play action reads, and Lamar Jackson snaps it, and then he keeps it himself and fakes the running back and houses it. and I think that house would have made it 14-14 or something. Would have tied it up, and they call it back because of penalty on like the left side of the offensive line that had no bearing on Lamar Jackson at all, and he just housed it. Next play, after they call it back, he throws a pick six. Now they're down 21-7, and I think Clemson got the ball at half, because it was right about halftime, made it 28-7, and then that was over. So, my thing that really makes me mad is I think penalties on the other side of the ball, there should be a judgment call. Like, if I throw a pass to the right side of the field, and there's holding on the far left, who gives a shit? It didn't affect the play. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean, and to be honest, I'm not passionate, one way or the other. But very good observation. It would have been a very, very different game, given that play.
It's huge.
Yeah. Clemson, though, emerging as just the front runner in the ACC, and to be honest, I would today give them the number one ranking in the country right now. They are just a monster of a team. They did not miss a beat on offense, and
that defense is legit.
And that defense is legit. NFL players running around all over the place on that defense.
Yeah.
So
the defense is good.
As of right now, in my head, Clemson is the team to beat in the college football world.
I think they have to be.
I think, we got to see Florida State play again. We got to see Alabama start playing some half-decent teams again. Obviously, they played Florida State, played a very good game. But again, you don't know without having to look at.
Vanderbilt's going to be a good game.
I think so, too. Vanderbilt's, undefeated team, and, we'll see. We'll get to the most exciting game of the weekend, and sort of the most surprising to some, Texas coming in not ranked. Texas on the road at USC against number 4 at the time, USC. Sam Darnold, Texas is sort of, after that Maryland game, sort of already kind of thrown in the hat on the season, and, there's just a kind of a somber mood, or, in around the Texas program. But come out, and this thing goes into double OT and wins it in a field goal. So.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh, this was the tough drunk game for me, because I think I remember something terrible happening. That's what happened. The Texas dude got a strip from him.
Yeah.
On the second overtime, their drive, I'm pretty sure Texas was moving the ball with pretty kind of relative ease.
No, it just looked, USC defense did not look good. But, again, it was late in the game, and this is not. It's hard to say.
Can I ask something without you getting upset, or without our listeners thinking I'm a bad person?
Go ahead.
So this whole blind long snapper thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think this is good, because I would personally like this. You know how they're doing them on extra points and plays don't really matter?
Yeah.
If I'm a long snapper and I go into one of those plays that don't matter, I want to get hit a little bit. Would you?
I guess. But he's the center.
Once or twice. I'm not saying
you can't touch the center.
Don't put me in for the overtime field goal. But when we're up 20 points, I want to snap. Hey, I want to get a little. I want to hit somebody. I want to push a little bit, get a little hit.
That's fair. Very fair. Very fair.
I think that's super fair. But what would stink? And I've thought about this too. What if the kick's blocked and then it's all out melee? And he's at the bottom of the pile. That would stink.
Just a bad crackback block.
Oh, Brad. Oh, Brad.
No one's listening.
To go back to my original argument, if I'm doing something and I'm if I'm disabled or have a handicap and I'm being kind of not nursed into this, but playing in certain situations where it's prevy for me to maybe not get hit a little bit. I would probably want to get hit a little bit. I'm not going to lie. At least once or twice, or maybe even practice. See how it feels. Because he's probably never been. You know what I'm trying to get at?
No, I mean, get a feel for an actual game.
Yeah, don't. If I'm busting my ass to get on this team and do all this, don't sugarcoat it. I want to get hit, not bulldozing one time. I bet you he'd love it though. That's probably like the thing though. Is like if that was our first time getting hit, you probably don't really feel too much. We're fired up.
Valid points.
Yeah. Anyway, that I had to get it off my chest. That's kind of been that's been bothering me for a little bit.
Grinding your gears, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. What's the weather look like in North Bend? South Bend, sorry.
I think it's all right. Like I said, that they played BC, BC has a pretty good defense. This is one of those kind of hangover games for them. They came out, the offensive play calling still is just atrocious. They keep running these play action reads with it's just not working. Like they have to establish one facet of the game first. And the play calling is bad. I don't think the receivers are good enough to get open. But defense has gotten a lot better. And when they finally realized, it's crazy. Both them and the Ravens are kind of a little similar. With they have a defense that is capable of holding teams to a couple points and allowing your offense a chance to maybe have a few off drives. But once they realize that they can start running the ball and doing that effectively, they're just such a better team. Like, they're just being able to run the ball downhill with Josh Adams or Brandon Wimbush off the edges. They're just such a better team. I don't think they need to go out and throw the ball 30 times a game. I think they can probably do a 65-35 run to pass, but just kind of game manage and keep because that was another thing is they were going 3 and outs, and the defense is gassed. You got to be able to slow it down, time of possession, give your guys some breaks, and just kind of take your time and go through everything. But no, they're fine. They play in East Lansing, 7 o'clock Saturday night on Fox. Or I think it's actually 8 o'clock on Fox, which will be very interesting.
No NBC?
No, they won't do NBC. NBC has Saturday Night Live, or something before Saturday Night Live. And Fox has that coverage for some reason. I thought it would be on ABC because of Michigan State and the Big Ten, but for some reason it's on Fox.
You've done your homework.
I try.
Week 4. This Saturday. Who do we got, Dugan?
So,
well, before we get to that, what were our picks like last week?
Yeah. So Brad's on a heater right now.
Let's go.
Like, I think, off the top of my head, Bradley, you are like, we've had 3 weeks. It's probably 15. Brad, you're probably like 13-3 or something. you're doing like yeah. I want to say like 5-11. I'm doing terrible, really bad. But the season is young. We got a lot of picks left. This week, I had Florida. You had Tennessee. Side note of that, had a buddy who got Florida minus 6.5.
Wow.
And was screaming at the TV to kick the extra point. Losing his mind at the TV. But then that kicked the extra point and won by 6. So that sucks. I think you had Mississippi State. I had LSU. I won at Mississippi State. I made a note of this in my computer. If that was an afternoon game, I would have went Mississippi State. You had Clemson. I had Louisville. We both had Memphis. I had Arm State cover the 30.5 against Arm, and BYU got their asses. Not help.
Hey, that's
so looking forward to this week, Bradley. We are starting with NC State going to the first home game of the Seminoles.
Yeah.
13-point favorites.
You know what I did last week, Dugan? Why I was so successful? I went against.
With your head?
I went against every instinct I have. And my instinct tells me that Florida State's going to kick the crap out of NC State.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, I'll take the points.
All right, Brad's going to NC State. I'm going Florida State, actually. I think first game back, people are going to be excited for little Noles football. They're going to have a lot of time to work with this new quarterback, and I think the game planning is going to be very simplistic to let him really manage the game well and for them to execute. So that's why I'm going Florida State.
I like it. Hey, I like Florida State too, but again, just got to go against my basic instincts here.
I don't blame you. Next, we have the Horned Frogs going to Stillwater.
Ooh, doggy.
The Cowboys are 11-point favorites. I'll go first this time. I love TCU. I think Oklahoma State wins, but I think this is at one of those Big 12 games where people start thinking about maybe Oklahoma State isn't that good. I think Oklahoma State does win, though, by 7 points, but I don't think it's that close.
I think Oklahoma State kicks the crap out of TCU.
Really?
At home, 3:30 game, a prime Big 12 game here.
Fair enough.
So, therefore, I will take the points and take TCU.
Brad, I had you penned in. For Oklahoma State. I like it. Next, we have the Wolverines going to the Boilermakers. 10-point favorite, Michigan.
Oh, my gosh. I don't really know about Purdue all that much, but Michigan's been not blowing teams out and not playing well, or at least up to the potential that we think they are going to. I think this is a close game, and it's definitely less than the 10 points. Therefore, I will eat the points and take Michigan.
Fair enough. So I'm going to use the little reverse thing on this too. Purdue's everyone's kind of like the sleeper team on Purdue. People love them. I don't normally buy into that kind of stuff, but I'm going Purdue.
All right.
That seems to be a very, trendy pick from the cover. Next, we have Between the Hedges. Mississippi State is going to Georgia. Georgia are 5-point favorites.
Georgia, 5-point favorites.
I'm going Georgia.
You're going Georgia to cover the 5 at home, Between the Hedges. That is going to be a rowdy atmosphere.
Would that not be a classic Mississippi State, though?
Yeah, and I think Georgia blows them out. I think Georgia, 7 o'clock games, it's going to be crazy. Therefore, I will
take Mississippi State.
Therefore, I will take Mississippi State.
There he is. Hey, at least you're consistent. What is Bradley's super dog for the week?
Stone cold lock of the century of the week. There's not really that many enticing games here.
I hope you don't pick mine.
I've been pretty good at it. But I am going to root for Mr. Corny's alma mater, Syracuse. They are 22.5 dogs in Death Valley at night.
Oh, boy. That's a wild game.
Yeah, it is. As I say that, I'm sort of starting to regret it, but...
I was waiting for you to say, they're playing, at Virginia Tech or something, or at, Maryland. And you said it Clemson. Oh, boy, that's going to be a bad game.
Did I say Clemson? I said LSU.
That was it. Syracuse playing LSU?
Yeah, Syracuse LSU.
They're both called Death Valley. So
yeah. So give me LSU to blow them out. Cover 2.5. 2.5.
22?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is going against my base against things. I think Syracuse makes it a close game.
Fair enough. So I have it between two, and I love this play, by the way, but I don't think 13.5 is enough points for this, but I'll give it out anyway. I think Miami minus 13.5, hosting Toledo, first game back in Miami. I think they're going to blow the shit out of them, but I don't think 13.5 is enough. So I'm going to take USC minus 17 over Cal.
All right.
Is 17 enough points?
Oh, yeah, we'll allow it.
Okay, yeah. I think it's a bounce-back game. Texas gave them the scare. And Cal's 3-0, so I don't think they're going to sleep on a little crosstown rivalry. They're going to get up for the game. I think USC covers.
You've done your homework. I like it.
I try and do a little bit. I try and do like 45 minutes.
Yeah, hey, not bad. Man, this season feels like it's going by so fast already.
I mean, it hasn't.
That is true. That is true.
We'll be all right. A lot of time.
A lot of time left. All right. A short episode this week, but again, not a lot happening. Not too much drama happening in the world of college football. And, once week 4 wraps up here, we'll have a good idea of movers and shakers around each conference and who's, starting to look really good. Until then, Dugan, stay safe. Say hello to Dutton. And until next week.
Until next week, Bradley. Take care.
You too.
See you.